I took my first economics course. I was going to be a dancer actually, but then I took my first economics course, which was back in Mumbai, and the professor was fabulous, but really kind of taught us about how so many of the issues, so many of the problems in the world have origins in economics. Students are having a really difficult time nowadays, right? I mean, the tuition is going up, mounting student debt, textbook costs are going up. You know, we just heard the other day that 1 in 4 CSU students is going hungry. And there's so little we can do about most of that, you know, as faculty, but this is something we can do. I teach a course called International Trade, which I teach every semester. It's a required course for all our majors. And I was always sort of unhappy with the textbook, although it's written by Paul Krugman, you know, the New York Times columnist. But there are students who need a textbook, who need the structure of a textbook, and they find that useful when they're studying. But I also increasingly find that students on their own go out and find materials because using media that they're used to. And so if you tell them Ricardo theory of comparative advantage, they're already on their phones and on their devices, you know, looking this up. Now, the thing is, they're going to do that anyway. The question is, can you help them by actually choosing materials that you think are appropriate or you think are good quality and that kind of thing. And so that's part of what when I did it the first time, I told my students that, you know, I've found some materials, but they might not work for you, so help me. And through this first semester, after every segment, I'm going to ask you, were these useful, were they not? Did you find other materials that we can use? And so I encourage them to go out and find material, and then we would critically evaluate it. Why is this good? Why is it not? I found an open source textbook, which wasn't all the way, I didn't use all of it because I didn't like all the chapters, but that's the good thing about open source books. You don't have to use all of it. So I used some of it, and then I actually kept some chapters from the textbook I was using, the Krugman book. And then I added some videos using Camtasia, and then a whole bunch of other, materials off the web, games and quizzes, things like that. It's worth taking a look and seeing, is there something that you can do? And I felt like this was something I could do for my students that gives them the same or better quality at much lower cost. My job was to sort of guide them through it, but also if there was something that was really interesting, to use it the next time. And I tell them that. I said, you've chosen this, I'm going to use it next semester again. And they kind of find that exciting, to be part of the curriculum development of a course, that they were part of finding something. I still have students 2-3 semesters out who will find things and send it to me. Like, Dr. Basu, I thought you'd find this interesting. Maybe you can use it in your class. I want students to feel like this is not about me going through the material. I already know it. It's about them making that material their own.